So today's video is honestly probably going to piss a lot of farmers, ranchers, and ag business owners off, but honestly though, it's a truth that everybody needs to hear. In this video, I'm going to expose the number one reason that family farm operations go out of business. A lot of people inside of this industry want to attribute their failures or mistakes to external factors, which I totally get where people are coming from and why they feel this way. But at the end of the day, my viewpoint on this as a business owner is that even though things are going to happen inside of your operation, it may not be your fault, but it's still your responsibility. So this is a tough concept ultimately to accept. Now, I'm going to use my dad as an example, right? So our family farm operation went under in the summer of 2005. My granddad started it back in the 50s. You guys have probably all heard the story. But ultimately, my granddad knew probably 6 months to a year ahead of time that the operation was not in a good place financially, and the ultimate chances of us going bankrupt continue to increase every single day. But my granddad did not tell anybody. So when my dad finally found out, it was on the very last day when all the accounts got froze, and my granddad came up to my dad and said, "Hey, we got to shut everything down." And my dad was completely just blasted with this truth and had no idea any of this was coming. My dad had always assumed that everything was taken care of financially by my granddad, but ultimately that turned out not to be the truth. Now, think about my dad in this type of situation, right? The first thing that he's going to go into is victimhood, and rightfully so, right? You just get blasted with this truth. Your entire life's work is completely up in flames, and you have no idea what you're going to do next. And all of a sudden, you're put into the situation where you're facing Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and you have worked for years, and you have nothing to show for it. So I can completely see why in that type of situation, my dad goes into that place there, right? And this is the exact same place that a majority of American farmers, ranchers, and ag business owners go into, because my granddad was an external factor that had a massive impact on my father's livelihood. But the truth is, though, is that even though it may not have been my father's fault, it was still his responsibility. And that's such a painful truth for us to swallow as business owners, because the reality is, it doesn't matter if you're in ag or in any other type of industry, we are all going to deal with these external factors that will ultimately could derail our business or contribute to our success in the business as well. But for most of the time, right, there are things that ultimately cause us to make a massive mistake or cause massive losses inside of our business, or like my parents' case, cause us to lose a lifetime of work and ultimately have to face Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And this is just one of those challenging things here about being a business owner. But a lot of people that I've seen over the years, though, especially in ag, it's really easy for us to slip into being a victim and blaming grain prices or the bank or politics or tariffs or whatever that is there, right? There's so many different things here that people can complain and spend their entire day thinking about, versus trying to be more proactive and really being able to predict and anticipate these risks coming into your business, and what are you going to do in the event that they do happen. See, this is a different mindset here, and why I'm trying to help people make the transition from being a victim inside of your business to really taking ownership over the results of your business. Because what I've learned in my experience is that I am always going to have external factors that could derail my business or knock us off center or slow down our process or impact profits or whatever that may be. And my responsibility as a business owner is to try to pay attention to those factors, right? To try to predict and plan on what happens to the business if those factors ultimately impact us, and just try to plan ahead accordingly. And this is where, as a business owner, you cannot afford to be a victim, because if you are a victim, you're not taking action and being proactive and ultimately solving the problem. And this is the type of situation that we see literally tens of thousands of operations in a position of throughout this country, because a majority of them, they want to be in this place where when they have success inside the business, they want to take ownership over it. But when they have losses or massive mistakes or potentially go out of business, it's really easy for us to slip into victim mode, and we want to blame everybody else. But as a business owner, it's your responsibility to take accountability for your successes, but more importantly, for your losses or the things that happen inside the business or externally that ultimately derail your profits and have a major impact on your business. And this is just a reminder for you, my friends, if you are running a farm operation, it's your responsibility to take 100% ownership over the mistakes that happen or the external factors that ultimately derail your business. Because once you take accountability, this is where you can ultimately start to make changes inside of that business as well. And this is exactly why we created Legacy Farmer, to help farmers with the tools and ultimately the mental capacity to handle what I'm about to share with you. Now, like I talked about briefly, the number one strategy that you can implement as a business owner is to really put a plan together on how you are going to manage and plan for external factors factors happening inside of your business. Now, as I've always said before, running an ag business, to me, it's one of the toughest businesses to run because it has so many external factors there that can ultimately derail the progress or the success of your business. But like we've talked about, it is your responsibility to own those external factors and figure out how you're going to deal with them. But here's the truth for you, my friends. If you are so stuck inside the business to where you're just trapped in day-to-day operations, it is going to be impossible for you to strategize these things. And again, going back and using my dad as an example, the reason he couldn't even consider these other external factors or what's happening outside of the business is because he was running day-to-day operations inside of the feed yard. And as an employee, that's where his viewpoint was. That is all he was thinking about. That is all he could see. That is all that he was worried about. But these external factors, like what was happening in the office and with my granddad and things like that, my dad never had the mental capacity to think about there because of the simple reality that he was so trapped in the business. And this again is what we see time and time again with every operation that we bring into Legacy Farmer. We are literally leading people down a process of working in the business to working on the business. So for the first time, they have not only the time to do this, but the mental capacity to be looking at the business from a 30,000 foot view, considering and planning for these external factors and making sure they are doing everything they can to protect the profitability and longevity of that business. But when you're stuck in the business, there's no time and there's definitely no mental capacity for you to actually plan for these things accordingly. So my friends, if you're at this place where you know for a fact that you are trapped in the business, you know that you're not planning for these external factors, nor do you have the time to research these external factors and give them the level of focus and attention that they deserve, this is what we help people do inside of Legacy Farmer. Like I said, it's a process from taking them of working in the business to getting them in a position where they can work on the business. And this starts with a step-by-step and proven process that we've led hundreds of family farm operations through over the years. Now, if this is something you're ready to start taking on for yourself, then click the link below and you'll be able to schedule a free call with our team. And we will officially begin this process of getting you from a place of working in the business to a place of working on the business so you can plan for these external factors or things that could derail or impact the profitability of your business finally today. So click the link below and schedule a free call with our team, and we will finally determine whether or not you are ready to start this process of going from working in the business to working on the business so that you can secure the profitability of your business today.